You're listening to the Traffic and Conversion Show. I'm your host, Michelle Fernandez, and this is episode 5. And today we're talking about how to stand out from a sea of posers and take your place as a highly sought after authority in your industry in 45 seconds. So stay tuned. Welcome to the Traffic and Conversion Show, where it's all about helping online entrepreneurs amplify their content, build their influence, and convert their leads into sales to grow a profitable business and life they absolutely love. Now, let's get this party started. Welcome back to the Traffic and Conversion Show. It's Michelle. What is going on? Before we get started, I wanted to say how much I appreciate you for subscribing to the show and leaving me some pretty cool reviews. What? You haven't left a review yet? We are only 4 shows in and the response has been incredible. And I am honored and so grateful that you've come on this journey with me. So thank you very much. Today's episode was created because I know there are many people struggling to manage their time on social media, figuring out a way to stand out above the noise. The struggle can be real to get attention on social, and as you're testing things out and trying to find your way, like it's so difficult to navigate these waters, right? Well, if you're relating to the words that I said in any way, shape, or form, you are not alone. We are all fighting for attention on social media. The easiest and the fastest way to capture attention is with video. People just connect with you more as you're more relatable on video versus like a static post, right? Because they can hear you, they see your quirks, they hear like your slang, and they can easily feel your vibe and decide pretty quickly if they're able to connect and relate to you and make the decision if they're going to keep watching or follow you, right? Or are they simply going to keep scrolling and possibly follow someone else? Now, some of you might be thinking, I don't want to steer anyone away. Like, I need as many customers as I can get. Well, we'll address that in just a minute. And what's really cool is that there's only 28% of people that are on social media using video. And I know sometimes you're like, no way, Michelle, 28%, there's so much more. Well, that's because most likely the people that you're following are leaders and influencers, and they already know that video is king. So they're doing it, and that's who you're following, right? However, a lot of your competition, meaning like your competitors that are selling similar products and services that you are not doing video. So there's good news, right? Because there's still opportunity for you to get in on the game and be one of the first before everyone else decides to muster up the courage to do it. Now, speaking of courage, let me give you some tough love for a hot second. And because I know I've been a live video coach, and a lot of my customers that I talk to them about doing video ads, they're like, oh, but I sound funny, I look funny, one of my eyes is bigger than the other, like mine. You have these different things that pretty much only you notice. But the tough love is that if you want to stay in business from this moment forward, you must be doing video, period. Like, you have to feel the fear and do it anyways. Now, trust me, every time I hit that go live or record button, even recording this podcast episode, my hands are sweating. Sometimes I get a little flushed in the face, like a little bit red, and it's totally uncomfortable, but I do it anyways. And I can guarantee you all these influencers and leaders that you're following feel the same way. But I will tell you that once you start talking, all the nerves go away. And once you start doing it more and more, you start to feel a little bit more comfortable of your uncomfortableness, if that makes sense. You just need to trust that when you jump, the net will appear. Now, the good part is, because there's always good news, right? The videos that I'm talking about don't even have to be long, like 5 minutes max. Like, you want to keep them really, really short. And why shorter videos, you might be asking? Well, the average watch time is 6 seconds. That's crazy pants, right? Well, when you're running ads, you're optimizing for through play. So the goal is the more people watch, right? The more interested they are into what you have to say. So when you're optimizing for through play, you want them to watch as much as the video as possible through the end, right? And you want those people to stay with you to the end because those are going to be qualified people, right? They're digging you. So shorter videos is what all the cool kids are doing now to get people to watch and become more invested in their brand, especially when someone doesn't know you, right? Your audience is most likely going to be like, OMG, this video is 30 minutes. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? And even if they do know you, like 30 minutes is a lot of time. You have to build a lot of trust and someone really knowing who you are, what value you bring, like what you stand for them to actually spend 30 minutes with you. So what I've been testing with my clients is 45-second videos, and they have been working so amazingly awesome, right? The reason why is because you're able to optimize for the through play, meaning that the more people are going to watch the whole way through a 45-second video versus a 30-minute video, right? And you can get them in some placements when you're running your ads that you can't do with longer videos, like Instagram feed, right? IG stories has been working really, really well. And what you do is you split up that 45-second video, like using let's say Cut Story app, and create 3 15-second videos. So you basically are creating a 3-story carousel. So you're able to take that one piece of content further at a lower cost. Now, if you're like my clients, you're saying to yourself, how can I possibly say what I have to say in just 45 seconds? And girl, I feel you because I'm talking like I'm a talker and definitely said the same thing to myself. And to be honest, it took me a couple of times shooting a couple takes until I got the hang of it because I am a talker. Okay, so there are 4 components to the 45-second video that will make the process of recording the 45-second video so much easier for you. And if you're listening and you don't have pen and paper to write it down, no worries. Just go to themichellefernandez.com/45 and grab your guide that I created that maps all this out for you. Okay, so all right, so let's break it down. Okay, the first component is the hook, which this is about 0, up to 3 seconds. And what you want to do with the hook is capture their attention immediately. So there's no intro, okay? Then you're going to move into igniting the pain or the pleasure. And this is about 3 to 15 seconds. So viewers must identify with the problem or the desire or opportunity. And you can do this by asking a question, show a success or failure, and make the benefit very clear. Then you're going to move into describing the solution, right? So this is about 15 to 35 seconds. So no matter what your offer, you're providing a result or a transformation. And what you're offering, whatever your product or service, maybe it's a lead magnet or challenge or webinar, is the solution to that problem or the solution to obtaining that desire. Then finally, you want to have the call to action. And this could be anywhere between 5 and 10 seconds. So this call to action is what you want them to do, right? It doesn't have to be a lead magnet or challenge. So for some of you that are starting out, you might be saying, oh my gosh, I haven't put this lead magnet together. I don't have, what I'm going to do for my challenge days or my webinar slides. Okay, don't let that stop you. This is all. You can also be doing it as building brand awareness. You can do social selling. So your call to action can simply be, hey, go ahead and message me or answer this question, join the conversation below. Or maybe even join your Facebook group, right? So don't let any of these things stop you because you are in business. You have a solution to people's problems. So there's all kinds of ways that you can structure this and you can get your message out, create engagement, connections, build your list, sell your products. There's all kinds of ways that you can do this, and don't let something stop you because you feel like you're not at a certain level or you don't have certain pieces in place, because there's all kinds of ways that even just starting out, and even with some of these videos, it's all about brand awareness. So let me show you how you can structure this at the different phases of your sales funnel. Now, I like to think of the sales funnel also as like the know, like, and trust, right? The know is at the top, Like is in the middle, trust is at the bottom. So the goal of the know phase is to get people to know who you are, what you stand for, and get people to engage so you can generate the attention you desire for your brand or your business. And just a reminder, by brand, I mean you. So even if you're an affiliate or you sell products for a larger company, there are thousands of other people most likely selling a product that's very similar to yours. So it's important to brand you and set yourself apart from your competition. Now, the goal of the like phase, so this is the middle of the funnel, is basically it's the conversion phase, right? So it's getting people to make more of a commitment to you while you're still giving value, like a webinar or a lead magnet, or maybe even inviting to the challenge. So you see, as I'm talking through these things, I hope your brain is kind of thinking, oh, I can do 45 seconds of maybe at the top of the funnel, right? In the know phase, talking about what I'm about. Asking certain questions to be a data collector and be that detective and kind of ask information and collect the data of what their struggles or pains are. Ask questions to get them to like saying those yeses, right? Then in the like phase, okay, how can I create a 45-second video to invite somebody to my challenge, right? Or offer them to sign up for my webinar or grab my guide. Now, the goal of the trust phase, now this is the buying phase, right? It's the bottom of the funnel. This is the deepest connection. And the goal is to turn them into raving fans where they're going to be buying whatever you're selling. So you can see how you can create different videos for the different phases of your funnel. So at the trust phase, maybe we're talking about testimonials. Maybe you're talking about your own transformation. Maybe you're overcoming objections in these 45 seconds, right? So this is amazing of what you can do. You don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I have to talk for so long on video and I just get nervous the whole way through. And it's so great to make this deeper connection with someone, right? Because you're just being real and you're being short. You're respecting their time and they appreciate that. Now, these videos shouldn't be produced, meaning you don't need a fancy background or have your hair did and a full face of makeup, right? You want them to look organic, like you're just having a conversation with your audience, right? You don't want your audience to notice that this is an ad. So you don't want it super produced with music and like words coming in. We're talking about just keeping it very conversational, very relatable, very approachable. And you want to just look at it as though you're talking to a friend. This whole video thing is all about, I don't care whether you're doing a webinar, you're doing a training video, whatever it is, it's all about having a conversation so your audience will relate and connect with you. That is the name of the game, right? So now that you've mustered up the courage, you got these videos done and you're like, yes, I posted them. Let's talk about driving traffic to these videos. After all, this is the Traffic and Conversion Show, right? So navigating through your Facebook Ads Manager is not as tough as people make it. It's like one of those things that people make bigger in their head than really is. And to be honest, a lot of my clients come to me and they're like, I either know how to do it, but I don't have the time to do it, or I don't have the time to learn about it. So if you are at the point where maybe it's a little bit intimidating for you to run ads, then I would highly suggest you look for somebody, an agency, to run your ads for you. Now, what I found, the complication, if you will, comes from, like this big heaviness that people feel with running Facebook ads, is that it comes down to the budget. As many people refer to it as, oh, I don't want to waste my money, right? Do you ever feel that way? Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to spend all this money and what results am I going to get, right? So the first thing to understand is that there's no guarantee in return on your investment. I know that's kind of scary to think. And notice how I said return on your investment. But what I want to move into is to understand that Facebook and really Facebook ads and really all kinds of marketing is all about testing, right? You're gathering data. You're testing your audience. Are you connecting with the right people who are looking for what you have to offer? And then you're testing to see what your audience responds to. Like, does it respond to your content? Meaning, is your messaging working? Are they taking the action that you want them to take? Is your offer what they want, right? So everything's like just this big testing lab. And lastly, and probably most important, if you want to run a thriving business, you must be marketing, whether it be organic, whether it be paid marketing, but it definitely includes paid marketing. And I suggest you do all of it, right? Now, here's the thing. In order to have a successful business, selling out your offers and being the leader that you were meant to be, you need exposure and a steady flow of leads and sales. And I don't know if this has happened to you, but it's happened to me, and quickly, I might add. Like, after I made connections with my followers, I joined some groups, I even attended live events, and I made all these connections, and all of a sudden I'm like, I ran out of people to talk to, and I was like, what do I do now? Right? Does that ever happen to you? Like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I don't know. Like, you're almost like at a standstill, like, what else do I do? So what it comes down to, that it's critical to get this new followers and new people into your funnel to be able to build relationships and make connections. And that's why it's so important to include paid traffic in your marketing efforts. And like I said earlier, video allows the viewer to quickly make a decision to follow you or move on. There's none of this wasting the time where people don't even want to be a part of your tribe, right? So in essence, you're qualifying your potential customers, team members, whatever, simply by making a video. The cool thing is that when your ad campaign objective is video views, the odds are basically in your favor-ish, right? And I say ish is because we all know that video is king. But we just got to make sure our content's there. We got to make sure we're reaching the right people. We're targeting the right people. So you are going to have to do some research on who your target audience is. And we already determined that video is the way to go. So if you follow the structure of the video flow that I just gave you, and it is in the download, and you make your branding voice very clear, you're on your way to filling up your funnel with qualified prospects. And when I say branding voice, I'm talking about kind of like what you stand for. Well, it's not kind of like, it is what you stand for. So what are the, let's say, 3 to 6 topics that you are constantly going to be talking about? So people know when they hear Michelle Fernandez, what is she always going to be talking about? Well, she's going to be talking about paid advertising. She's going to be talking about organic social posts. She's going to talk about funnels and sales conversions. So people are going to need to know when they come to you, what do they expect to hear? And then you are that go-to person for that job, right? So you need to make sure that your branding voice is super clear. So when someone says, I need mindset training, they say, oh, you need to go follow this girl, right? So let's talk about budget. Everyone always wants to talk budget. Well, how about $1 a day? Does that sound good? Now, I've been getting a penny to 3 pennies per video views for my customers. So if you think about that, for $1 a day, that's a lot of views per day, getting you exposure, building your brand awareness, pre-qualifying prospects at the top of the funnel so you don't have to, and then filling up your funnel with qualified prospects who are ready to dive deeper with you, the value you provide, and what you have to offer. So now that you've committed to your business and decided to up-level your marketing, let's talk about who should you target with your ads, because this always is kind of tricky. And one of the things that I've made a commitment to do is every month is to look for some new audiences for my clients. So even if we have audience that we're like, oh my gosh, this is working so well, right? Okay, well, that's really great. Just like maybe you were in a Facebook group and you were connecting with some people, but then what happens? That kind of gets stale after a while, right? So we need to constantly be looking for new audiences. Where are my people at? So this is going to take a hot minute to do some research on. However, it is totally worth it in the long run. So you want to figure out like who your ideal customer is. So you could break it down by a few things, like where are they living? Like, is your company maybe expanding to another country? What is their age? Do you want to track men, women, or both? Like, what are their interests? Who are they following? Where are they shopping? What are they reading, right? This way you can look up some authors and magazines. And I'm even talking about thinking outside the box, right? So let's say you're in health and wellness. So most people will target, I don't know, just regular like companies that maybe have health and wellness products. But what about targeting like Jillian Michaels or Weight Watchers? Or maybe even talking about thinking outside the box. How about Fabletics or Lululemon? So you see how it's not just, okay, other people who are influencers in my space. Maybe it's, okay, what products are they using? What books are they reading for this? Like, even like on, I don't even know, is Oprah still on TV or whoever that recommends books? It's like, okay, this is a hot book. They're talking about health and wellness. How can I get in, right? How can I find them and follow them? Go to people's websites, those influencers' websites, see where they were featured in. Because now you know if let's say they were on a certain TV show, right? You know, if they were invited to be on the show, that show has an audience of the people that you're looking for. So why not just test and try to find that audience that will match with you? You never know. Now, I see a big mistake that I see many people. I am so sorry about that. I am Hispanic and I use my hands when I talk and I hit the microphone. Back to the show. Are only running ads when they are getting ready to launch. Now, most people do a 4 to 8 week runway and then they shut their ads off when their cart closes and then they open up again 4 to 8 weeks out before their launch. I recommend running ads all the time. Like I said, you're always looking to build brand awareness and bring in a steady new flow of leads in daily, right? And the way to do that is through advertising. And you can do it organically. However, that's a ton of time. And I'm sure that your time is worth more than $7 a week, right? And I don't know about you, but I would prefer to spend an hour a day with my family than sending out messages to everyone and their grandmother trying to find a qualified prospect. Okay, so to wrap things up, let's talk business practices. Now, not business practices, best practices. You should definitely add captions to your videos. So every video that you do that you're like, oh my gosh, this is really great, it got engagement, let me add some captions, because sometimes people are scrolling through and they don't have their volume on. So if they're in a meeting at work and they're like secretly watching on social media, they can be paying attention to what you have to say without having to hear your voice. Now, you can do them in Facebook. They're not always accurate. However, it is easy to edit. And since the videos are short, they won't take you that much time. And there's, of course, also options to use like Rev.com or Trint.com. And you can do it for less than $1. And it's more accurate. You'll still have to go in, I believe it's called like automated something, and you can go in and you could kind of just, you watch it again and you kind of change some things and it'll highlight for you what they think is not the right answer, but that'll take you way less time. Okay, so when it comes down to creating content, because content is key, right? Take the time to create some really good content. Now, when I talk about really good content, I'm talking about content that's going to help your followers get results in their business and in their lives versus just giving a bunch of fluff, just repeating what you heard somebody else say on a show that you watch. You listen to a podcast, you watch a live video, you're like, I'm going to repeat everything they just said on my thing, right? Let's give them something that's going to help. What's going to be a quick win they can get? What's going to really get them to think and say, oh, I need to make this change in my life, or I didn't know that I had this problem, right? So get them to think, get them something that helps them and get results in their business. And you could do this by taking a larger topic and breaking them into smaller chunks. And then you test with what your current audience is engaging. And this way you can get them to you can choose which videos you're going to choose to amplify, meaning putting money behind. So did you get value from today? I would love to know if you're going to try this. So DM me or tag me on social at the Michelle Fernandez. And there you have it. The one simple strategy to turn eternal scrollers into paying clients in just 45 seconds. Now, just a reminder, I have put together a simple guide that goes into what we talked about today, breaking down the 4 components of a 45-second video. So head over to themichellefernandez.com/45 and grab the download. And I will also put it in the show notes. So I appreciate you so much for being here with me today. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And while you're there, please leave me an honest review. I hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time, happy marketing. There's never been a more crowded market in the online world, and every day you are constantly fighting the masses for attention of your ideal client. And we all know that in order to have a successful business is by keeping a steady flow of new leads and sales. And in order to get that, you need a steady flow of new followers to be able to build new relationships and make connections. Getting a steady flow of new followers in such a crowded market is easier than you think. I've created a simple strategy that will help you cut through the noise and connect with your ideal clients quickly and effectively so they will want to work with you. It's all about connecting and converting new leads in 45 seconds and turning those eternal scrollers into paying clients in just 45 seconds. Whether you're still growing organically or ready to pour some money into paid advertising, this simple strategy will bring in new leads who are warmed up and ready to hand over their cash. If you're tired of wasting time and money on trying to stand out, then you're going to want to grab my guide at themichellefernandez.com/45 to help you stand out from the crowd so you can scale with ease.